ApexOnlineRacing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to the 19th round of the AOR Hype Energy Xbox One F2 League for Season 16. Today we go to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexican Grand Prix. First held in 1962 at a different circuit, which was the first international racetrack in Mexico near the capital city. And the last Mexican Grand Prix, the Gap, it started back in 2015, and we see Mercedes and Red Bull winning 2 races each, with Max Verstappen winning the last 2 Mexican Grand Prix. And it was a notable place where Lewis Hamilton took his 5th world title, which was a very good history in the books. And it's also a circuit where it hosted the recent Race of Champions at the baseball stadium section. I am Jess, one of your commentators, and I'm delighted to be joined once again by Alex. Welcome back.
Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It was a very good race last week. I felt gutted that you missed it, to be honest, but you were in the process of moving your Wi-Fi and stuff and work and stuff, so you couldn't make it. But yeah, the championship is pretty close at the moment, which we'll go through in a minute. But Rosberg had a bit of disconnection issues, but he did go back on the podium. He did get a P3 to start with, and then he had a timing glitch at the start of the race when he left at the end of qualifying, and the stewards looked at that, and it's now in P2. So Alex is not in the game at the moment. His Xbox is still updating.
It's typical, isn't it?
But we are gonna go. We got stuff to talk about, so do not worry. We got standings to talk about how close the championship actually is. The title is not going to be decided tonight, and the earliest it's going to be decided is pretty much Brazil, or maybe the final round in Abu Dhabi. So whilst we wait for your Xbox to update, shall you go through the standings for the drivers for the top 10?
It just reminds me of IndyCar earlier. I don't know if anyone watched it. Basically, the feed just completely cut out. So it basically turned into a radio show. So I feel like kind of like that way. I'm going to have to kind of wing it. But obviously, Maloney is leading the championship by 203 points, as you say. CRL Rosberg, obviously, P2, 2 title contenders. He has 191 compared to 203. So there's about a 22-point gap. So that's only a race win between them. So you can definitely see if someone has a dodgy race here in Mexico or the next few. I think it's more likely than not the championship will be decided at Abu Dhabi, which I think will be great, because that'll be great to watch, absolutely, to see. There's also quite a tight fight for the 3rd position in the championship between VSR Infamous and VSR Hydraulics. Infamous is on 154, Hydraulics is on 150, so 4 points. That's pretty easy to make up, so that's going to be something that's fought to right till the very end. For English, it's in P5, 123 points. I don't really see him catching up to the close fight for 3rd and 4th, so I think he's going to probably be staying P5. But Beefer, he's got 114 points, he's in P6, so 9 points between them. Probably see that that gap probably closing or widening, depends how it goes. Jork's on 100 points, nice round number there, got to give it to him, he's in P7. Sam, he's in P8 with 87 points, bit of consistency there. Now here's what's interesting. For 9th and 10th, VRT Verstappen's in P9, Pelsry is in P10, There is 1 point literally between them. Verstappen on 68, Pelzeri on 67. So very, very close. It's amazing how we get to such a tight end of the season. You know, we've only got a few races to go, but literally there's no clear winner or clear leader in any certain position. You know, we've still got a lot to play for, which I don't think is something you can say for a lot of championships in racing generally, but just generally in AOR, which is great to see. Obviously, we're in Mexican Grand Prix. You know, very long straight and a very, very long run to turn one. I think it is the longest run to turn one in the whole of the F1 calendar. So, you know, we could see some issues. You know, it is a very tight, just complex with 1, 2, and 3. So I think we will see some cars get some damage and, you know, some altercations happening in there. So, something quite interesting to see. I quite like Mexico. I don't like driving it personally because of the 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of how can I say, combination. I can never master it, but it's a track where if you absolutely perfect it, you know, you will get parties, or obviously you will, but you know, it's definitely a difficult track to master. But I really feel like we're going to see some cars go out there and put some amazing laps in, especially you're going to put some amazing laps in there, because is it raining, Jess? I don't know, because I'm not on the lobby myself, but it is raining right now, isn't it?
It is a very soggy Mexican Grand Prix. When I loaded the lobby, I was like, oh god, and Alex was like, what's going on? And I said it was raining. So the tyre strategy is pretty much going to go out of the window in terms of people are going to use the hypers. The hypers are back in use once again, but if people are going to use the hypers, it's more than likely going to be on a 2-stop, and it's probably more than likely going to be towards the end of this race if they do ultras to hypers. But more than likely people will do ultras to supers if they were doing the 1-stop. A lot of people will qualify on the ultras, so it is into conditions right now. Pelzeri just setting a very good lap time on the into conditions at the moment with a 1:26.7. Due to the fact that it is wet conditions at the moment, the times are evenly spread at the moment, and a lot of people are going out on their lappers. We just seen Frangwish bottle it into one of the corners, which I see a lot of people bottle it. That's just before the baseball stadium section, as we like to call it here, as we see a lot of people get caught out in Oceana this morning as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts going into the race about stops then?
Well, my main stop is that my Xbox doesn't stop, to be fair. That's a terrible joke. But Xbox is good, Jess. But yeah, I think 1 stop is the way to go. Oh, I'm watching on the feed, and there was a Franglish there, as I saw, just catching that back. But I think it's definitely going to be a 1-stop race. How it's going to be, I'm not too sure, because obviously the wet weather conditions obviously create a major, you know, how can you say, major, I can't think of the word. How is it? Major spanner in the works. That's how you say it. But yeah, I feel like, you know, firstly the order's going to be messed up anyway, because people could be out of position due to the wet weather, and you know, I feel like someone's going to go and throw in the hypers and go, you know what, I'm just going to do it, which is probably going to be a bad mistake, but you know, I feel like someone's going to do it. I definitely think there's an ultras to super soft race. Obviously, some people are going to go super soft to ultras, but I definitely think the starting time must be the ultra and then move on to super.
Yes.
I don't see anyone really do 2 stops with a fresh set of tyres because of the wet weather, unless we get into a wet weather race, obviously. But I don't see anybody starting on hypers or anyone going for a 2-stop. I really don't see any of the main leaders doing it anyway. But yeah, if I could have an invite, that'd be great, Jess.
I thought I sent you an invite. I'm literally
Did you?
spamming invite party to game, but it's not letting me.
Oh yeah. This is the real race, everybody. The race to the race.
Yeah, the race to the race. So if what I might do then, let me just switch overseas.
Hey,
Wait, what?
Yeah. I'm just saying that Hayden can invite me as well if he needs to. But,
yeah, I will.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll change intro for a second whilst I do a little bit of a. Let me just see if I could. Do we
just to talk about some stuff just so you can focus on sending an invite?
Yeah, sure.
Let me talk. Okay, so obviously you won't really play the strategy, but for the pit strategy, it looked like it would be if you start in ultras, you'd hit about 11 to 14 for super soft. So probably we're going to push that back maybe to about from 14 onwards, maybe from 15 onwards. And the other strategy for the super softs at ultras was going for lap 21, 23. So, to be fair, I can see someone pushing out the super softs all the way to about 24, 25, and maybe going for the hypers from there. Maybe that's possible. Maybe I'm just being too optimistic. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's definitely. I think it's going to be an interesting one for strategy purely because you know, one, obviously the weather, but two, I just think the tyres we have on offer, you know, cause some sort of headaches in terms of strategy. Like, obviously I'm going who'd go hypersofts, but I think someone will, and I think it'll prove me wrong because I'm normally quite wrong. But anyway, I believe I am now in it, so Jess, you can go back on, see what you want to do.
Thank you to whoever invited Alex and Hayden. Literally, I think it's because the Xbox app decided not to work all of a sudden, but we are back in business. Let's go disco, and yeah, that is the annoying thing of having Xbox updates. It happened to be on Friday night when I was commentating for another league. I had an Xbox update which I was meant to do half an hour before the half an hour, and literally I was calling it fine with 5 minutes to go. But anyway, going on with the times, they're pretty close between the top 6 I'm noticing. Verstappen's in there in P6 as well, which is quite nice. Good to see. Hopefully he has some better luck as well. Now, if you're wondering who Apex Error is, it's the new guy who had actually scored a very good result last week. It was Dutch Seeker, I believe. He's got a new game change due to the fact that he's on the team. And I do recognise a few faces, because obviously some of these guys will have already signed up for the F1 Esports, no, the AOR Esports tournament, which is happening on Tuesday night. And I think we will see the likes of Apex Aero. Oh, we see a lot of people bidding it already.
Why does Verstappen go slow? Yeah, did he bin it?
Oh, he's lagging.
Yeah,
I don't know. Actually, he's not lagging, actually. He's just finding... Pretty much he's finding the wet conditions pretty much probably tough to handle at the moment, maybe. I don't know. But not many people, actually, Alex, have been practicing in the wet conditions. So it is going to be quite tricky for them as the session progresses for qualifying. And these guys pretty much need to wonder if these guys if the conditions are going to improve. It doesn't look like it. For me, I think it's getting worse. I think. So the wind...
Well, I wasn't for start, so I'm not too sure. But I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of yellow flags straight away. But yeah, no one just really seems to be connecting with the car on the track. You know, it just seems to be really, really difficult for everybody. Which we love as a spectator because it means that drivers are all over the place. But the concerning thing for me is Dralix. What's up with him? Because obviously I haven't seen what happens, but he hasn't set a lap time yet. He's gone out on a lap, obviously, but
yeah, he's set
how
a
come he
lap.
hasn't set a time yet?
He has set a lap time of 1:26.5.
Has it? Oh, that's my game broken.
That's
okay, I got him with no time, like a little dash. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, I was just wondering that Dralix was like, oh my god, what's happened to him? But okay, no, he's good. That's good to hear.
It probably will update as we go through the session at some point. So hopefully you can still see cars, which is good. All good to see. And Frank still there in P2. Let's see who else is a Clone Troop's got quite a slow lap. We got a yellow flag in set to 1. Someone going extremely slowly there, and a few people actually diving into the pits there. As we've got 3 minutes of the session to go already in this really tight Mexico circuit. You know, there are some very difficult places to overtake. You couldn't possibly overtake in the final bit of the staging section, but the run into turn 1, like you said earlier on, is crucial. Possibly starting from pole may not be the best option. I did see in Oceana this morning, the person who did start on pole didn't get the best start. The ones behind them got the best as a start and they overtook them. So possibly you may want to be starting on the grid, possibly pretty much P2 or P3. So Maloney and Fangbridge are going to get the best to start to, I think, possibly I predict. And I remember Pelsley taking his first win as well a few weeks ago, and he's looking to get a good result. And I think no one is beating him, actually, which is quite surprising. Rosberg in P6. Fingers crossed, touch wood, he won't get any disconnection problems at the end of qualifying, or his Xbox won't shut out. And also the driver of the day that I said last week that is doing well is obviously the new guy from last week, which is Burnout, who started last. And
I think you put some commentator's curse on Pelsbury there, because Frank has just beat him by about 0.3 of a second.
Sorry,
So,
Calvary, if you're watching. Because you might be watching this back and be like, yeah, but Burnout came from last and then ended up finished out of the, I think it was, he started in 17th, I think, and he came to finish 6th. So it was a good result for him. He had very good pace overall, but he's not very good. I think, from what I've been watching in practice, I think for him is he's not that good in qualifying, but he's very good at the race. So, which is what I'm usually am. I'm rubbish at qualifying, but not too bad in the race. Gaining position. So, and Menini is 1:25.8. Maybe the conditions are getting better. It's crucial.
Yeah, they look like Sorry. Yeah, just I think what it is, the track settling in, the racing lines becoming more apparent, which is people are finding. But yeah. Or maybe some people have gone for more of a downforce setup and just hammered it from there, because obviously this isn't really a track where you want to go for heavy downforce at all because of the long straights. But maybe they just feel, maybe they know it's going to be raining during the race and they're thinking, okay, because obviously, you know, you don't want to set your car up for qualifying and not have your car set up for the race and just go down during the race, because what's the point? You're losing the points, etc, etc. But yeah, maybe they just feel like it's gonna chuck it down during the race. I don't know. Oh, Dralic's there.
1:25.5.
1:25.
Yeah, they are
good.
getting better. I'm seeing less rain on the circuit right now, on my screen. So I think if I was people on the grid now, I would stay out. But Sam has chosen to pit. John crossed the line. Is he going to make it to set another lap? Yes, only just. I think he's now starting set to 1. Menley crossed the line in P3, so unfortunately not quite enough to get pole. Let's see who I could follow actually, who's just started a lap. I am just going to see, because we need to go on a hot lap. There's a few people going quite slowly actually already. Let's just follow Franglish anyway to see if he could get pole as he's going through the very tight S section. A lot of people do lose it in the S section, both in the qualifying and during the race. So very tight to negotiate and very tight to get right. A very good middle sector. He improved by 1/10 there, so maybe he can improve on P6. There's a few people going faster already. Burnout P4. That is a very good lap time from It's Burnout 28.
All I'm saying is John has got another fast lap now, but he's really struggling in the S section. I think he's gone quite wide.
Franglish improves, but not enough to improve his position, so he's P6. Dralix doesn't improve, but he's still pole anyway. Rosberg 5th. Pelzery could be interesting actually as well. As Pelzery's
keep an eye on.
Pelzery's in the pit.
Sorry, keep an eye on John, because I think he's coming to the pits now. He bunged it in.
He ran out of fuel as well.
Pole. Yeah.
It's not his first pole this season. He's got a lot of poles, and usually when he gets poles around tracks, he usually converts it to a good podium. So, not jinxing anything. Maybe we could get on with a good result, but I'm watching out on Menini. He's going to get in my opinion, he's going to get a very good going into turn 1, and I think he's going to get a little bit more of an advantage, I think, going through there during that long run. Because you're going to get that slipstream, and unfortunately, Dralix is not going to possibly get that slipstream. He's just going to get some air in front of him, whereas everyone else is going to get slipstream. So he's going to have a little bit more. So anyway, here are your results then. So 1/10 separated between Dralix and John. We got Menini in P3, It's Burnout in P4, Rosberg in P5, Franglish in P6, LGS in P7, Clone Troop in P8, Hayden in P9, Pelzery rounds up your top 10, and your they all have free choice of tyres, don't forget. So that it will be interesting in strategy. So our 11, so from the bottom downwards, we've got Apex Aero, VRT Verstappen, Beeford, Jork, and Sam rounding up your grid. 1.8 seconds separates everyone. So even in the rain, it's in close stuff. This is Xbox One F2 for you, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's going to be very interesting to watch. I'm quite excited. Obviously, I've been here for like a few little, a few races, so it's going to be quite interesting. I just want to see if it's dry or not, because if it is, it's going to be so good. And obviously, it's raining.
Oh my god!
It's raining. Okay. Okay. So traction from the start is going to be very important, obviously, because it's bloody raining. But you know, so yeah, the start's going to be so crucial, and also the breaking into turn one, because I feel like someone's going to underestimate the breaking into turn one, break very, very late, and just go flying into turn one. So I think people are going to have to be cautious, very much so, because I think if someone's underestimates breaking and goes flying in, there'll be a load of student inquiries coming straight in to AOR on the forums. But yeah, I'm quite excited. I feel like it's more...
It looks like inter conditions to me.
Does it?
It was like this.
Quite a bit more heavy.
Yeah, I don't know, but to be honest, I thought if it's a wet qualifying, it's usually a dry race. It's definitely wrong here. It's a wet quali and a wet race, but we could see the conditions dry up. If it does dry up, actually, this could prove to be an interesting changeover. I was going to show the pit strategy, but I can't because it's pretty much going to be all over the place. So, pretty much the wet. They took a long time to sell their strategy, so it could be interchangeable. It could go
wets.
To dry race.
It's wet. Everyone's on wets.
Full wets.
Yeah, everyone's on wets. So interesting. Okay, so Dralix is going to have a real... I'm hoping everyone practiced a good launch system as they went off, because the launch is so crucial here. I think it is the one track where, you know, launching is so crucial. But I'm excited. I'm very excited, because who doesn't love a wet river race, especially around Mexico? Because some of the drivers are going to be just struggling so much with all the weather and stuff. It's going to be great.
I think
absolutely great race.
Because Alex got pole on a wet track and obviously he's in wet conditions, I think it's going to be possibly Dralix's conditions really to pretty much thrive. He said in the chat, to be honest, just now that he really wasn't expecting to get pole in Mexico, but he got it, and he got it by quite a good margin, and Verstappen has just got disqualified there. Now, let me just show you the pit strategy anyway, even though it's not going to matter because it's wet. So if it was dry conditions, they will start on the ultras, then go on the supers and pit around 11 to 14. And if they will start on the supers, then they will pit around 21 to 25 on the ultras. That is not going to happen here. It's pretty much touch and go on what the weather's going to be like. I could imagine though the conditions may get better as some of these guys may go on to inters. So I predict it could be wet to inters to possibly dries, or it might stay like this for the full race. I don't know. I haven't heard much of a weather report from the drivers, but I will check the chat as well. So no rundown at the moment. So I'm looking forward to this. I like races like this because it's a lot of fun. We may see some of the drivers that are doing well in the championship may drop it down a little bit in terms of position, and we may see some guys that are not usually at the top be at the top, and this could be very interesting for Dralix as well to see if he can get P3 in the championship over Infamous, who Infamous unfortunately can't make it tonight. So Dralix has got very prime opportunity to get some more points over Infamous today, and possibly Frangwish as well, at least starting on pole. And we are about to get started here at a very wet, very soggy Mexico. We've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and it is away we go here at the Mexican Grand Prix. And it looks like, I think John got a much better start going into turn 1.
Definitely.
And Dralix managing to cover. Burnout getting a good start, as well as we've already signed to, hopefully we get a few guys make it clean into turn 1. I did say the guy on the other line up at P2 was going to get the better run, but interestingly enough, Menely dropped it to P4. Let's see if they all make it into turn 1. Surprisingly enough, they do, which is quite remarkable in these wet conditions, and good job to the drivers. John is in the lead. I haven't seen him.
Oh no, Pellsbury's in the wall. And Verstappen's gone. Oh my god, and that is Sam out as not out as well, but Verstappen. I didn't see what virtual safety car right there. I didn't see what exactly happened. I went basically just from the back to see what happened. I just saw a Haas stuck on the wall along with a Sauber that was Pellsbury. Sam got caught up in that one, but Verstappen does not have a front wing.
Oh, a virtual safety car.
Yeah, but at least it's a VSC, so if he does need, well, he does need to be it, but at least, you know, he doesn't lose so much time. But I'm surprised it is a VSC. To be fair, it didn't seem to be that much of an incident, to be fair. It didn't seem that crazy. But as I say, it just shows you how crazy it is during the wet. But at least everyone's keeping quite close to each other. You can see 5, 6, and 7 with Rosberg, Franglish, Clone Troopers keeping quite close to each other now. But hopefully Verstappen, yeah, he's quite a way back. So that isn't too great for the Haas driver. You don't know. Maybe he goes on. I was going to say maybe he goes on an alternate strategy. Then I realised obviously it's all wet. You can't change your tyres. But yeah, it's going to be a real annoyance for Verstappen, because think about it, Pelzer and Verstappen, who came together, they're in that fight for P9 and P10, 1 point apart, and they're both now out of the point. So not great, and Sam got caught up in that one. He's obviously, you know, trying to close the gap to Jork to get P7. So, you know, not a great start for them three drivers, really fighting for some key positions in the championship.
Yes, and very tight indeed, as we had Sam, Pelzery and Verstappen all gone into the pits there after that carnage in pretty much turn, I think it was turn 5 and 6, I think it was, and very unfortunate for them to be caught up in his incident. The safety car is now ending. Clone Troops on the back of Franglish already going into that difficult S section. I imagine, Alex, the S section is going to be very difficult in the wet conditions, because A, visibility is quite difficult, and B, the track is quite soggy, as Clone Troopers just found out as he went a bit wide in that S section. So he's got some ground to make up as well. And interestingly enough, I've seen Rosberg and Menley fight it out pretty much all race last week for position, and I think they're going to do the same already going through the stadium section. It is very tight to get in the wet, I must say, and Menley and Rosberg are doing a great job with that, trying to fight. And interestingly enough, a very interesting fact actually, even though Menley and Rosberg are P1 and P2 in the championship, they've never shared a podium together. So either one has got a podium and one hasn't. So I think for them, they're hoping that both of them go in the podium. And we've had a lot of banter off air with these two, and they seem to be getting on well as well. So it's good to see some I think Hamilton and Vettel are getting well with each other as well. So it's kind of like a Hamilton-Vettel moment, where they do respect each other quite a lot as well, and that's what these two going. And Rosberg was looking like he was going to make a move around Menley there, but unfortunately did not make stick at the moment. So let's look at the biggest gainers and biggest losers actually. And Jork in the McLaren up 5 positions as Verstappen is out of the race. So his race is over for pretty much the second or third race in a row, which is really unfortunate for Bailey as he was caught, and I think pretty much he was having some lag as well, which cost him out a little bit. So that is game over from VRT Verstappen, but Sam is deciding to stay out, so he's not giving up, and Pelzery still there as well. Rosberg, Menley still fighting out. The gap between Dralix and John though, 1.1, so Dralix not able to take the fight to John just yet, and just goes to show John is doing very well in these wet conditions right now. He's thriving. He's recently joined a new esports team earlier on in the week. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, you think, joining an esports team and then getting a good result afterwards, and that usually happens for some of these drivers.
Yeah, I think one very interesting balance going on is Hayden and Jork, even though you said Jork was
Wait, hold on. We got
Oh.
Rosberg and Menley fighting for position into T1. Sorry to cut you off there. I really want to catch this battle as very, very tight going to set one, almost being pushed off the track. We do see a car off the track. I don't quite see who that was whilst I was fighting with a thingy, but looks like Rosberg got that move done up into P4 now, but Menley's going to challenge once again. DRS is disabled, don't forget, so all they've got to rely on is slipstream. I didn't quite see who went off, but I think it was probably someone that did lose it that was at the back of the field anyway, so I didn't quite see, or it might have been someone's car that hasn't been towed yet. But Rosberg, what a move into T1. They're absolutely really, really good. This is now going to challenge Burnout for P3. Now, Rosberg and Burnout have been working together, practicing with each other pretty much for the last 2 weeks. So I wonder if they're going to help each other, give a little bit of a tow. Look at Franglish though on Menley. Menley is definitely under pressure going into that stadium section there. So will Rosberg manage to keep Menley in front, and more importantly, will Franglish get the move done on Menley?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, Frank's just literally came out of nowhere. I think obviously the battle with Rosberg and Melanie made Melanie lose quite a bit of crucial time during the race. Yeah, I think Franglish going to pick it up. Franglish had, he said he had the pace for pole, but he just didn't kind of link it together. Franglish does have a lot of pace, and I really think, he will put, a real, oh god, a bit hot on the brakes there. Scare out of nowhere. But yeah, I think, Franglish can make a move on Melanie. I don't think he can do something like just like that turn 1 again. That was way too hot. Didn't think well through about it. But one interesting one is, LGS is keeping quite close to Clone Troop. Jork is fine Hayden, but that gap is opened up a little bit more now. They really were fighting earlier, but Jork's just kind of, pushing away now. Creating a gap to the Renault. Beefer's a bit back. He's watching the fight from a bit of a distance as he's kind of, how can I say, Tokyo drifting around Mexico, and Apex area comes through. He's really struggling with the with the wet weather conditions, which is a shame. He's a strong driver. Ozzy Paldry and Sam are quite a way back, just racing for the joy of it. But yeah, Dralix and John is going to be an interesting one. I feel like John's going to entice Alex to come closer and then push the car out a bit more and just create a comfy 6 times gap between him and the Haas. Rosberg and Burnout, I think it's been quite close. I think Franglish and Melanie is the next battle you're going to really want to see. But I think Franglish just getting slightly frustrated now. You can see that going into turn 1. He was quite, he lost time through there because he was quite on the brakes. He thought he could die for him, but he really couldn't. And now, he's suffering per se for it. But LGS on Clone Troop, that's one move that's going to come through. Clone Troop's moving out the way, go down the main straight now, gone on the outside, sweeping back in, LGS, making sure he goes on the inside into turn 1. It's going to be whoever breaks last to get through, and I think that's LGS breaking last, and he makes the move before he takes turn 1. Clone Troop just trying to open up 2 and 3, try and get a better run on LGS. But he has a bit of a struggle with them wet weather tyres, can't really get the traction down. I think LGS there has secured P7 for now, and now Clone Troop does have Jork coming soon onto his care. LGS there in P4, going quite a way wide.
Yes, LGS is P7 as they made contact a little bit there going into towards the start of the S section, and look at Jork, he's getting an advantage on Clone Troop going in, actually the start of the S section now. The visibility is definitely not helping whatsoever with these guys between Jork, Clone Troop and the others. I wonder how that's going to turn out for the rest of this race. There's pretty much battles going everywhere. It's absolutely amazing as LGS is trying to hold off to Clone Troop going through to the stadium section. Clone Troop is going to try and make a move, but he can't make it stick at the moment. And contact again right now, as it's very, very tight between those two actually, going through that stadium section, as they're all pretty much a closely tight battle between these four. We got Hayden as well joining in. It's pretty much a battle for 7th going through the start-finish straight. But look at Dralix and John going into T1. Dralix couldn't quite make it work at the moment. He almost had it in there. He was on the pace into turn 1. He almost had it there. But I think Beefer is just retired, I believe. So he's another casualty of the pits. A fellow casualty anyway. Dralix, he's just got to hang it in there. He's doing very well to catch up to John. He's not making too much adventurous moves, to be honest, by the looks of things, and he seems to be catching up quite nicely. As John is usually a midfield runner. He's the one that's usually towards the back of the field, helping his teammate Hayden. And to see him where his conditions are actually thriving, it's good to see from the Renault Power team. That's definitely going to help in the constructors, I might say, if you agree. So that is good. That is good to see as well. And I'm just seeing what other battles we have got at the moment. As Fang, which has just got a 3-second time penalty. That is not the I think it's a list of his other one. Clone Troop has also got one as well. Very tight battle for 7th place still between LGS and Clone Troop. But I think Jork and Hayden are having a little bit of a battle on their own as well. We got a yellow flag in sector 1 and sector 2 as well. Very tight as Rosberg is on side by side for Burnout actually, as I think Burnout lets Rosberg through, as Burnout knows that Rosberg has a championship to contend with, so he thought he would let him through anyway. So that's the gentleman thing to do in a way, as he's now going to catch up Dragon to P2. That's going to be very, very tight and as well. And advantage being on the wet, the tyres don't get as hot easily. So you can go on a circuit for a little bit longer than intended to. And I can already see some puddles still forming already. So there's quite a lot of damp parts of the circuit as well. So Dralic's almost making that move done there. Rosberg now up into P3. Absolutely mental already. And we're not even halfway yet. Some very good action we're seeing so far, Alex. And I think he's not back yet. I thought he was BRB for a minute there, but I am not entirely sure if he's back or not. I will just make sure of it soon as well. But anyway, let's just keep going then, as we still got a battle for pretty much fifth in a way as well. We've got the likes of Menini, we've got the likes of Frangwish, we've got the likes of we've got Clone Troop as well, Jorg, loads of people fighting for position. Just let me know when you're back, Alex, by the way. But we've got, I think Jorg's going to challenge Clone Troop once again, then going to T1. John again already starting to pull away from Dralix. Clone Troop weaving all over the place as he's trying to defend in these wet conditions. Jorg is going to take the right-hand side line going into turn number 1. Jorg does it. A very good move from Jorg, but Clone Troop might get the switchback actually from Jorg. There was a little bit of contact made from Clone Troop, but there was no harm done. So very good to see that.
Can you hear me?
And I think you're back now, aren't you, Alex?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I had trouble.
So yeah, Clone Troop really pushing. Clone Troop's really pushing through now. He dropped a few places, did he? Which ain't ideal. But what's quite interesting is a bit of a trend going on with Dralix, Rosberg. There's a slight train going on all the way back to about Franglish. So it's getting interesting, isn't it? Everyone's kind of within a second-ish of each other. So I think that's going to be quite interesting, especially when the track starts to dry and everyone starts like going on to softs. I really think, or getting into the inters, I really think that's going to cause a few, spanners in the works. But yeah, no, really interesting to see.
Yeah, I was going to follow Rosberg, but he's got the rev glitch, so I won't follow Rosberg, with Rosberg making a good move on burnout earlier on in the race as well. And I wonder who's going to get more of an advantage in these wet conditions actually, as Frangwood is going to try and make another move on Melanie. Not at the moment. Burnout getting his first penalty, but again a lot of people are going to get penalties on these wet conditions, so to be honest I'm not really that surprised at the moment. To be honest, I'm not really that surprised that some of these guys are getting quite a lot more penalties than I thought already this race. Our podium sitter not doing too well on these wet conditions actually, stuck in 11th place, and I've already seen a bit of dirty air already. I am just looking actually to see if the conditions are going to get any better, or is it going to stay wet conditions throughout this entire race? I imagine it might stay for the whole race, or it might go to winters. I don't know. So it's pretty much the drivers have got to be alert, to be honest, as they go through these stages of the race. It's going to be very tight for these guys to absolutely get that right and make sure that it is as good as possible as well, as we got quite a train forming again going through the stadium section. Possibly the last corner of the stadium section will be a potential for some of these guys to make the move. The closest right now I think is with Clone Troop and Hayden as well. He's making some ground to get that last point as well, but don't forget he's got penalties. Dralix has found some more time on John. I wonder what it would have been like in DRS. I'm sure he would have got that move done on DRS, but I don't think DRS is going to be enabled at all this race. So but Clone Troop getting a penalty again. Not the best of moves, I must say, but and Rosberg's into the mix as well, so he's found some more time on Dralix as well. This could be Rosberg's chance to either see if Dralix and John make a mistake and potentially get the move. But look at Dralix and John. Dralix was looking to make another move, but John managing to hold it in there once again. His defensive skills are on point today, John, and he is doing massively, surprisingly well. The driver who I was not tipping to potentially win this race is in the lead. and we could be in for I did say I would have a huge shock in this race. I wasn't expecting this shock. We still see the likes of Rosberg and Dralix up there gaining some good points on the board, and Rosberg can potentially get some good podiums as well. I wonder if Dralix is going to make another move anytime soon. Rosberg is looking for a mistake. So we're on lap 11, still wet, still a chance for potential of some of the people lower down the field to potentially make their way up the field if any of the big guys make a mistake, Alex.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Dralix has kind of backed off now, which is quite interesting to see, to be fair. But yeah, John basically is making his car as big as he can, which is the ideal thing, you know. Yeah, because Mexico is this weird, like, for me, like this weird profile where it's really wide in some places and it's really tight. So in these corners where, you know, it's really tight, you basically need to position your car the best you can and try and make it, you know, as wide as you can make it. Dralix, it's trying, but it's definitely, you know, John getting in there. I really think, you know, with more DRS, if he had more assistance, for example, or, you know, I think he's just got to wait for the time, you know, when he can do ERS and fuel and really just barrel it down the straight and see if he can make a move before turn 1. That would be ideal. But Rosberg there, he's really basically trying to push it just so he can open up that points gap to Maloney. Maloney's dropping back a bit. He's really got Franglish on his case now. So I can really think Franglish is going to make a move for P5, just because you've got this massive group of cars in P6, first to 6, that if someone makes a mistake with all this pressure, you're really going to suffer. Really. Oh, Franglish nearly loses there. But yeah, it's definitely a situation now where if you make one little mistake, you're toast.
Yeah, pretty much. Franglish is pretty much all over. Is pretty much going to look for the opportunity to make a mistake, like I said earlier on. And as we get towards the halfway point of this Grand Prix, pretty much anything can happen. And we haven't seen any of the guys, the big guys, pitted yet. So I wonder when they're going to pit. The only people that are pitted are the ones that have had the issues in lap 1, and that was Pelzery and Sam F1 LSE. Everyone else is staying out, so I think again a blessing in disguise as we're seeing Melly a little bit weaver now, a little bit going into T1. Franglish is in P6 right now, so we are just waiting to find out potentially if he can get the move done. We are seeing Bernard not that far behind Franglish. We got a 5-6 way battle for the lead. I haven't seen this in F2 in ages, and it just goes to show that high caliber, like we said earlier on in the stream. And John's gained 1 position, Rosberg's gained 1 position as well. There's no point getting the tyres up, because obviously it is full wets at the moment. So I will get full tyres up if we do see conditions improving, but it's not looking like conditions are improving at the moment. So Burnout is looking for an opportunity. Rosberg, he's looking for an opportunity to pounce as well. LGS sliding a little bit towards that S section. He's 9 seconds behind AOR Franglish, so we need to find some ground right now as well. Hayden doing well in 9th for Jork as well. I can't really call it who's going to get that win, to be honest. It's Dralix more than anything. Dralix is now closing up to John pretty closely indeed now. I've noticed with John, actually, John has gained a little bit more speed on the straights more than anything, whereas Dralix has been more closer in corners. So I wonder if John's wet setup is more geared to the straights more than the corners, and Dralix is more to the... As Dralix, actually, as I was saying, going into T1. Nope, staying where he is at the moment. And Rosberg was thinking of making a move, but he didn't want to get involved in any contact. Obviously, both Rosberg and Dralix are both for VSR. They work together, and they don't want to take each other out. So they're deciding to take it easy for now. But that was very close from Dralix, I must say. But Franglish 2 tenths behind Melanie. He might be looking for a move as well. Oh, that is so tight. It is just... there's little room for error on these wet conditions around this S section especially. And it's just good to see why these top drivers are here where they are today, because they can cope with these wet conditions. I wonder how we would have coped. I would have been absolutely rubbish at this. And so props to these guys. And I wonder if any of these guys on a pad, especially on a pad, wet conditions with no traction, no ABS, no, you know, it is quite difficult. So respect to people who are on a pad right now, but I think most people on a wheel, as Franglish is trying to look around the outside of Melanie. not doing it on this occasion though at the moment. No, he's not right now. Clotry's not that far behind Hayden as well, actually. As he's looking for moving across the stadium section, making a similar move that Franglish did actually, but he is staying put for now.
Yeah, I think Dralix, he's really trying, but I think, as I say, he understands now that he's got to save all his energy and go down the straight for a move. But yeah, I think it's just too much too soon. I think you've got to wait probably till the end of the race where the cars are lighter. The ERS is more of a key player, and the fuel needs to go in there to make a move through there. But yeah, Franglish is really keeping up to Maloney, which I think Rosberg will be happy to see. Obviously, he's not watching, but I think he'll be happy to see purely because it means his championship is much more wider for him, and he gets more points compared to Maloney. So yeah, I don't really see Maloney dropping down below P6. Obviously, LGS is way far back, so I highly doubt that'll happen. But yeah, I really think Franglish will make a move. It's not a matter of if, it's more a matter of when, to be fair.
Yes, and obviously since these guys are all in the full wets, it's pretty much an even playing field, I must say, Alex. If you agree with me, it's not like if you're on a newer tyre, then you're probably going to do better. But it is not. They're all on the same level, and it is good that in these full wets, they're making these tyres last for a lot longer. I wonder what would have happened if these guys were on the Inters. They probably would have had to pit a few laps ago. Do you think so?
Oh yeah, definitely. They'd have to pit a few earlier. I really feel like it's coming slowly into weather though. I think the next few laps, I think you'll see someone from the back thrown into Inters just to see what happens. But I think in the next few laps, I really think Inters could make an appearance. Probably.
Could do.
I wouldn't put it past someone at the back. Maybe Sam Helsbury. I could really see someone thrown in there.
I did predict it may go full wets to Inters, but I think the one prediction I did was full wets to Inters to dries, but that would have been a crazy race, and I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. I wish it would, but unfortunately it's not, because otherwise it would have been full Inters conditions right now. But I don't think it is Inters conditions yet, because it still looks in very soggy due to the amount of puddles, and I don't see that amount of puddles in Inter conditions. So it's going to be quite a while, I think, before they go on to the Inter conditions. I think due to the fact that these guys have obviously, like you said, have been on for a while, they're just waiting. I have a feeling it is going to go to Inters, because otherwise they would have pitted by now. They're just waiting for the right time, so they won't have to make the extra stop. But meanwhile though, Franglish, could he get the opportunity soon going towards Manley? Not at the moment. Clone Tree getting another penalty, but at the moment towards the top guys, I think Rosberg, Dralix, or John hasn't got any penalties, so they're all keeping it clean, keeping it together, and Menely is going to be the first person out of the leading bunch in the pits, and our leader is in the pits as well. So very intriguing. I wonder. Let me just go for John. No, it's not Inters, Alex. It is for. Oh, that was. It looked like a save there on the pits there, but it might have just been what happened on my screen. Yes, John is in full wets. So is Menely. So is Clone True as well, I think. Yes, he is. Helsbury, I think, is looking like he's going to go on to full wets. It looks like Alex is going to be full wets until the end. It's going to get spicy.
Yeah, I don't know if the undercut. I feel like the undercut could work, actually, to be fair. Well, Dralix really pushed. Now he's got some air to him, but Rosberg's keeping close, putting the pressure on. It was interesting to see how Melanie followed what John done, but no one else did. I really thought that stood out to me. Just, it was a way, obviously, maybe the others were thinking, because they could have pulled in and followed John, but they're obviously thinking, let's stay out. So I think that's an interesting decision there. I think we'll see what happens as a result of that in the next few laps. But yeah, on some wets again. I think it's getting a bit more heavy rain now, so probably, yeah, I'm looking at Jork now and he's somewhat struggling. But I think, yeah, probably onto wets is probably the smartest decision right now. Probably not Inters.
Yeah, definitely not Inters at the moment. As we're seeing Dralix going into the pits then. Could he get the undercut work? We're going to find out. Let's go on board with our net leader of this race then. John, I really don't want to pronounce his full tag name, because otherwise I'll get told off if I pronounce it wrong. John from the 183 esports team. He's joined recently at the beginning of this week actually. and he's doing very well as John.
Keep an eye on Alex.
I'm keeping an eye on Dralix as well. John goes ahead of Dralix. So, unfortunately, Dralix doesn't get that cut working, but he's only about 1.9 seconds clear of, behind John. So, for me, Dralix, that's an alright pit stop. It was an alright pit stop. He didn't get into too much trouble. Rosberger's pitted. He comes out the same position. So is Burnout. So is Benelli. So is LGS. So is Clone Troop. The order hasn't pretty much changed at all between these guys. But look at Pelsbury and Sam though fighting Argy Bargy, going through to the start of this difficult set of corners coming up right now. Pelsbury managing to defend these two on this occasion, and the most tricky thing about this, he's got two people attacking him, so he's got to defend twice as hard. Going almost into the halfway stages of the race coming up pretty soon as well. I do believe we are at the halfway stages right now as we've got 18 laps to go. It is going to be potential for some trickiness, to be honest, as we go to the final stages. It is halfway. They been on full west for most of this race. It is going to be one stop. We're not going to see the two stops that we're usually seeing in other leagues, and it's being quite saucy at the moment, but in a good way. As Franwish is going into the pits, and so is Hayden. So pretty much the order you're about to see on track will be the actual order. So John will be in the lead, then it'll be Dralix, and then it would be Rosberger's. Apex Aero has got another 3-second time penalty. I don't know how many penalties he is on, but yeah, well done to Pelsbury for holding up Jork and Sam. Looks like Melanie was making a move on Franwish there for a minute there as well, so very tight going into that S section there. Well, the start of the S section anyway, so yes, John does have the upper hand right now, and more importantly, can he keep the others behind him?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, simple answer. He's got the pace. He could hold Dralix back. It's 2.5 seconds now. I think that's pretty difficult to close. Yeah, this is the blunt answer. So yeah, I think everyone's so close together, but everyone's kind of spaced out now. But Franglish has overtaken Melanie, which is, as I said, matter of if not when that's happened. So Rosberg will be pretty happy, to be fair. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure John will keep it.
Yeah, imagine if the title race does get decided in Abu Dhabi, because that would be absolutely crazy. As much as I want a title to be crowned in Brazil, I want it to be so close that it is still wrapped up on the final round. Because most championships could be decided today, which will be nice, and some could be decided in Brazil. If you were watching the Xbox One F1 stream last week, you may know that Evo was crowned the champion last week back in the United States. So again, if he's watching this back, massive well done to him for a really dominant season all season as well. So he's been crowned F1 champion. I think he's the only one that has been crowned in AOR, the first tier to have that privilege, I think, as well. And I think we had Oceania F2 that someone else commentated on, had a champion crown this morning. So I wonder how that's going to play in terms of constructors as well. The constructors probably won't be decided for a while yet either. Forsberg's around 9 tenths behind Dralix. Franglish is 9 tenths behind Burnout. This could be interesting. We've got 16 laps to go now. It's going to be tight, I must say. But I think John just has that pace at the moment over Dralix. But to be honest, I think Dralix will be pretty happy with P2, even though he'll probably be disappointed to not get that win due to the fact that he started from pole. But if he did start in P2, and he's still where he is now, he would be pretty impressed. But he'll probably have a bittersweet feeling, but it does mean he can get some points in the championship. So pretty tight already, as we've got... I think we've got, it's Dralix, both Dralix and Forsberg going wide there. I think it will be a warning for both of these cars, I think. I won't be surprised if they will get some warnings. And they've been running clean all races. Apex Arrow getting another penalty. I'm losing track of how many penalties Arrow's got. I've been losing the track on how many penalties they've got at the moment. As they're going towards the start-finish straight. Rosberg 9 tenths slower than his previous best. Again, Rosberg seems to be gaining more downforce at the moment, more of a downforce southward at this rate. So, is a potential to see if he can make the move stick. Dralix defends. He knows where Rosberg was going, and he defends that really well. And both of them keeping it clean. So, well done to Dralix for good defending there. But Rosberg is definitely putting up a fight. He wants that P2 in order to make sure he closes the gap even more, because the higher he is in comparison to Benelli, the more chance he is to get a good position and still take the fight to Abu Dhabi, which is all he needs right now. If he gets P3 or P2, that could be very good for him, as Joel Dralic's got a time penalty. It's his first time penalty, 3 seconds. So Rosberg needs to keep it clean now, and his P2 is his.
Yeah, basically, which is a shame for it to go, to be fair, because obviously you want to fight. I think sometimes the clone troop. Clone troop is... Oh, what's happening? Let's go. He's in the wall.
Oh, no.
He's in the wall.
He's ghosted as well. So I won't be surprised if he's had enough, as he's trying to reverse it, I think, into the start of set 2 by the looks of things. He's got to be careful to... Oh, he's hit the wall again. I won't be surprised. His front wing is gone. I won't be front wing has gone. Oh, not all of it actually. Luckily, only a part of it's gone. But it's still, he's going to lose a little bit of downforce. So he's dropped around about 20 seconds. So very unfortunate for Clone Troop. And I've just seen Fangwish. He's not that far behind Burnout. Where did this happen for AOR Fangwish there? Fangwish is up to see if he can gain another position. I think due to penalties, Fangwish will get P4 anyway, but I'm sure he would want to get that position on track, possibly, maybe, or he might want to stay at a good position to try and defend. You never know, as the last nail-biting laps are happening right now, as Burnout takes the right-hand side, and so does Fangwish keep kissing that apex. And Burnout getting another penalty. I think he's down to about 12-15 seconds, I believe, of penalty. So that's going to cost him more than it's worth. But again, I think he'll be happy that he'll probably get people on the track due to his pace at the moment. I think another person that's very good on race pace more than quali pace right now. And that's allowing Rosberg, though, to pull away ever so slightly over Burnout, though. But I think knowing him, Burnout is not worried about Rosberg. I think he doesn't want to overtake Rosberg. He's just concentrating on defending Fangwish from behind, I think, and he wants to help Rosberg try and win this championship.
Yeah, I don't know. Burnout, I think, Burnout's, it's great to see, firstly, him pushing through, great from one stage. But I don't know, I feel like, you can say he wants to see Rosberg help the championship, but sometimes, you want to fight for yourself, and, you want to, really push for yourself and try and get it. But as I was saying, gap between John and Dralix is now 2.9 seconds. It was 2.5, but it's not closing anytime soon. So I really think, John is pretty much cruising to the win. I think definitely now it's going to be more of a fight for P2, P3, P4, P5, because they're all pretty much close to each other. As I say, it's a bit like earlier, how everyone was so bunched up to each other. It's down to that, within a second of each other. Pretty much everyone's within a second of each other. So I really think you can't hold down where who's going to finish on the podium with John. But I'm putting out there, John's going to win it so far. He looks pretty comfortable. I can't really see him losing it, to be fair.
That'll be his first win.
Which would, it'd be great for him. It'd be great to see as well. But he won it completely from the start. I wouldn't say it was him being P2 which helped him. I think it was just he generally had a better start.
Yeah.
Dralix didn't have a great start to start with, and he got bogged down with everyone else. John just launched. He literally was just gone. But really great to see. It's getting more interesting now. I'm going to say Rosberg, everyone's spacing out now. Everyone's calming themselves down. Even Franglish, he's not fully given everything on the lap, and it's just, as I say, that it takes a time penalty. But as well, as you say, obviously time penalties are coming in. It's going to be quite interesting to see. So I don't think, we're talking about the actual track, but the problem is we've still got time penalties coming that hadn't been applied yet. So obviously we're not too sure where everyone is. We can't really calculate. But it's going to be interesting to watch, at least.
Yes, for the rest of this race. So I wonder, is Rosberg going to get the jump on Dralix that he needs? He's down about 5 tenths now. So it is nice to see them actually battling it out for the race on track, not worried about the tyres. I think that's one thing about these wet conditions. They don't have to worry about tyre temperatures as much. So it's one less thing they need to be focusing on. Oh, a yellow flag is, oh, it's Clone Troop again. Same place that people have been balling it in qualifying and during the race. And at the start of the stadium section, he's parked it in the stadium section off the track, luckily, so the others have got past. He's being lapped by, yep, he's lapped now. He's been lapped by John Dralix, I think Rosberg. I think everyone is coming their way through the field. So he's going to lost some very good time. And please, I really don't want him to get his third retirement in the road. That will just be torture. And yeah, he's out. He also had a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. I think once he got that stop go, he was like, right, that's it. I don't want to cause any more damage than it's worth. I decided to retire. That's probably what he's thinking in his head right now. But he'll have a few more chances to redeem himself going into the last few rounds. And we see the yellow flag in set to 1, but it's pretty much gone now. Burnout. Burnout's lost position to Frangwich, but Burnout's on the charge once again. I didn't see that move, unfortunately, but looks like Frangwich got a very good move, actually, as Hayden's got a time penalty. So I think Hayden didn't get many time penalties this race. I think he's up onto his first. I really should have been checking penalties, to be honest, but I didn't really do that. So I will do that for the next race. Will be Brazil, of course. Brazil, to be honest, one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, I think, as well. I like the short tracks. Oh no! That's John getting his first penalty. So Dralix now has to be free. Actually, no, because Dralix on a penalty as well. So let me just look at the gap, actually, the leader. 4.1. So if Rosberg gets 3 seconds clear of the leader, Rosberg can win. So he's about 4.1 seconds at the moment. If he closes up to Dralix, he could get P2. Almost certain, I think, Rosberg could get P2. But for now, that means, I wonder if Rosberg's Jeff has been told to get the hammer down because obviously of Dralix and John getting a penalty. I wonder, or if he's playing it safe. To be honest, if I was him, I would focus on keeping ahead of Melanie, in my opinion. But obviously a win's a win. But as long as you stay ahead of Melanie, you're going to close up the gap anyway. But if Rosberg gets the win, that's going to increase your chances of closing up to Melanie. The gap's going to be absolutely tight in the championship if it stays like this, which is going to be absolutely immense. You also got Frangwich in the mix as well, but obviously Frangwich has got a penalty as well. So for the battle between John and Dralix, it's going to be even Stevens, luckily now. So it is unfortunate for John to get that penalty. I feel really bad now, as usually the ones who usually want to get wins, they get penalties, and that's, you know, would have been. I really wanted John to get that win, but unless Dralix or Rosberg get a penalty, John's chances pretty much slipped away at this rate. But you never know. If Rosberg stays 4.1, if the gap stays where it is, I think John can still claim that win. But Rosberg needs to get around about a second clear of more to the other guys, and then Rosberg could win. But luckily, John's all right at the moment, though, so we can keep it steady at this stage. Dralix and John are even on penalties, so it's going to be absolutely tight. Rosberg now down to 4, about 3.9 seconds a moment ago. He is pushing. I can tell Rosberg's pushing.
Yeah, he knows in his head, like, if he pushes, you know, he can definitely make it. The main obstacle for him is that maybe earlier he wasn't too concerned about overtaking Dralix to get, obviously, P2, because he already had it in theory. But now he knows, okay, I need P2 to win, which is really weird to say, because normally you need P1, obviously. But yeah, he really needs to push. Other than that, you know, everyone's kind of spaced out now. So yeah, it's definitely going to be, I think it's going to be taken down to the last few laps, to be fair, to where it's going to be. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yes, I'm excited to see how these last few laps develop, and I hope we do see some last lap battles, to be honest with you. I really don't know who's going to win, like I said. As much as I want, I literally, if any of the top 3 win it, it will be good. Whoever I see in the top 3 win, I'll be really pleased, because those 3 have been working so hard all race. Dralix, to be fair, bottled the start, but not as much as not as much as the other guys, and he's staying. He's only dropped one position, so not always lost for Dralix, and he's going to get some into good stead because some of these guys may be moving to Tier 1 next season. So if they score very well in the championship this time about, they will probably make the move and the jump into Tier 1 next season if they get to good time trial runs, which possibly, I won't be surprised if the likes of Rosberg and Renly possibly could go into Tier 1 next season, you know, because of their pace in F2. And sometimes we've seen people in F2 before struggle in F1 that we've seen already, but you never know, they could thrive a little bit more. And I think, I was speaking to Rosberg, I think, at the beginning of the season. He was gutted that he didn't make F1, but he was been using it all season as motivation to get a championship, and that is what he's been doing. And I think he's been enjoying himself in F2. He's been liking the challenge to be still up the front, gaining some wins, which he probably won't get if he was in F1. And he's thriving. He's absolutely thriving. He's starting to get into a rhythm now, more of a momentum. So obviously he got P2 last week, and he's probably going to get P2 this week. So he's going to get another P2 in a row. That's going to be immense right now. He's not as pushing as much at the moment though. So I think at the moment, I think he's just going to accept P2. But hold on a minute, we got Franglish right behind him. But Franglish, I think, has got more penalties. And I've just got, excuse me, I've got a note in the chat. Rosberg has got a personal Jeff of TM Rapids. Massive shout out in the chat, by the way. So Rapids is helping Rosberg. I guess they're in a party together. So that's probably one advantage of Rosberg, I guess. They don't have an automated Jeff, they have a personal one. Oh my.
Oh, burnout there with the time penalty as well. That's not great for him. But I think Franglish has a lot more pace, definitely. But oh, arrow on Sam there. Oh, that's because Sam's in the pits. But the gap's at 4 seconds with about 7 laps to go. So it's close. That's what I've got to say. It's really, really close.
Yeah, it's very close towards the end there. As we're approaching lap 30, as pretty much Rosberg, I'm keeping an eye on the gap between P1 and P3 by the minute there. I am, to be honest, I'm not following the interval gaps, to be honest. I'm more following the leader due to the penalty situation. And I did see in Xbox One Oceania that penalties did decide some people's outcomes, but not everybody's outcomes. So it is quite sad, obviously, to lose by penalties, but pretty much the top 10 are going to get points. Hayden looks like he's not going to get a DNF. He's got a DNF the last 3 races. So if he finishes his race, it's going to be a good achievement in itself, because obviously he doesn't like Mexico, but he's going to get a 1 point. 1 point could make the difference. So even if you just get 1 point, it could play dividends a little bit. So it's going to be absolutely tight. As Palsbury just setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix at 128.0, and I thought it was going to be into conditions, but unfortunately it's not going to be. That means it's been soggy pretty much for the whole weekend in Mexico, which I've never seen in real life Mexico, to be fair. And it's really tight towards the end. Possibly other people helping teammates, to be fair. It's going to be tight. I don't think Melly's going to be in a position to catch up to Burnout or Franglish, so unless penalties decide, maybe Melly can get P5 or P4, you never know, depending on how many penalties Melanie has got. And for those of you that don't know, the Xbox One, I was about to say Xbox One Oceania, the Xbox One F1 League is on now, so if you want to check that out, have that run simultaneously while you watch that stream as well. And yeah, John is still leading. I think he's holding on for dear breath, making sure that the gap between him and Rosberg is over 3 seconds, which it is at the moment. So he's doing what he needs to do right now to gain that lead. But look at Dralix though. Dralix is gained a few tenths that sector, so it is not over yet for John, because Dralix can still get the win as well.
Oh, totally. Yeah, we can definitely get the win. I think John is just. I'm keeping on board with him, obviously, but I think he's just. Ever since he got the penalty, he's driving cautiously. He's not taking the corner too tight. He's you know, purposely, really look at him, he's really keeping, you know, all wheels clearly one wheel over the white line. He's making sure extra careful, which is good to see, because you don't want to lose a race completely by penalty, which is, you know, which he basically nearly has done. So yeah, he's been very cautious right now, which is good to see. But yeah, he's gonna. I think, you know, I think he can hold it. He's kept this gap for quite a while, and I don't think it's gonna close.
John is pushing though, by the looks of things. He knows that he wants to find some more time, and he is doing so. Rosberg's found more time there for a minute there. 3.2 seconds. I was looking at John's, looking at Dralic's time, but I wasn't paying attention to Rosberg's time. Maybe he's pushing because he's also got Franglish behind him. So it's not over yet for Rosberg. My God, this is going to be very tense last couple of laps. In most of these F2 races in the last few rounds, like with him famous winning a dominant race last week, you know, now the gap's down to 2.9 seconds. Holy moly!
Oh
down to
no!
3. Oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be absolutely tight right now, going towards the end. My money. I would say John is probably going to keep it, I think, unless Rosberg could push Dralix to the bitter end. But I don't know. He's just getting more time at the moment. It's either the top two losing a bit of pace, or Rosberg is just gaining a bit more time. But it will get.
I think it's John losing pace. He's dropped time to Dralix, and Rosberg's just slow catch up anyway. But yeah, I just think it's John losing pace, to be fair, by quite a bit.
Which is very unfortunate. But still. He's going to get, if he doesn't win, he's still going to get a podium. He's still going to get his best ever result. But I think what he's thinking in his mind is, I've been winning this whole race, and if I bottle the race win due to penalties, he would probably be a bit disappointed, I think. But he'll be probably happy to get the win on track. But it's going to be tough, like I said, to see if Rosberg can catch up. He's also got, I think, Franglish behind, and the burnout is still further away down the field as well. So it's going to be close. John managed to find a little bit more time there in that final sector, so he's recovered. Because obviously Dralix lost a bit of time on John. That's probably a little bit more time at this stage right now, as the three much Dralix, Rosberg and Franglish very close right now. I'm running on board with John Rosberg running a little bit wide there. That means he's lost a little bit of time. That's going to allow Franglish to gain more time, I think. But obviously Rosberg has no penalties. Franglish has got quite a few, I think. Can you check on penalty for Rosberg and Franglish, please? Just to see how close it is going to be. LGS has got a time penalty. I think it's his first one of the session, I believe. He's doing very well. Not
Franglish just a 3 second.
Franglish 3 seconds.
Franglish just yeah.
So he a lot less than I thought. So he's going to comfortably get P4, or if he could be 3 seconds clear, he could possibly get P3. You never know. And Franglish has been a little bit more consistent this season, and you never know. It's going to be.
Franglish on 6. Sorry, he's got 6 seconds. 6. I'm sorry, adding up quickly. That's 6.
Oh, that's
seconds
6
so
seconds.
far.
Okay. So very, very tight towards the end there. It's going to be. I know there's a few people have
Make that 9.
John do well. Them fighting with
Make it
the
9.
breath. I'm not going to look at the gaps until the end. Otherwise, I'm going to say, oh, Rosberg's this gap. Now he's this gap. Now he's that gap. I'm not going to say that. But
Yeah, 9
Franglish,
seconds.
He's going to
Sorry,
look at
9
a move
seconds.
on Rosberg. Not quite there at the moment, but I don't think they're going to challenge that much at this stage. There's no room for error on these last couple of laps. It's just intense. I wonder what Rosberg and John are thinking on their heads right now. I don't think Rosberg will be expecting this. Do you think if Rosberg wins, do you think he'll be expecting it?
No. Honestly, no. Just don't think. I don't, you know, I think he just came up with the penalty, so he's basically winning it now. He's in net lead, which is pretty good. But obviously he's got Franglish behind him. So
I think that's why
I think he just needs to think. Yeah, he needs to worry. I think he needs to stop worrying about the Toro Rosso behind him and just push. But literally, this is going to be down to like a matter of temps. even thousandths maybe, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be a photo finish at this rate. Oh, Franklin's going to make a move. Oh, there's contact. No!
Oh, no! Oh, no. No. Oh, my
That
God.
has costed Rosberg massively. That's put... Oh, now Rosberg's down to 7 seconds. I think we must have jinxed him talking about the gaps all the time. That is a crazy end to that race. Luckily, Rosberg is still ahead of Melanie, but not quite a lot. He's got some serious making up to do. Burnout. You can tell Burnout's out.
Burnout's giving him position back, yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's helping his teammate. That's what he's doing. And he's got to find some time, but I don't think it's going to be enough, I don't think. So it looks like the order's going to stay as it is at this rate. It would have been absolutely tight. And for those of you that are still watching, thank goodness you're watching, because it is not going to end right there as my controller keeps disconnecting. No, why are you doing this? There we go, we're back to normal. As, yeah, very unfortunate mistake from Rosberg, but like we said in other streams, it is not over until the checker flag falls. If you want to finish first you have to finish and not be involved in many contacts.
Yeah, but there's no way he's going to make, how can I say, 4 seconds in literally a matter of a lap. There's no way you can do that. Which is it's a real shame. It's a real upset because Franglish just got too hot-headed, which ain't the first time, to be fair. You know, he really came. He went for that long, deep dive into turn 1 on Melanie, didn't he? Kind of backed out. So I feel like, you know, he definitely underestimated the braking and just, you know, caused it, which is a bit of a shame, really, because it was going to be a really tight, close end to the race, wasn't it? So,
it was going to be a tight battle.
Yeah.
But
very close.
there's still going to be some good points for Rosberg, and he is. I think he's going to be a bit disappointed that he was close to the win, but he didn't get it. But he's going to be all right. That at least it's point closing up to Melanie. So that is a win, and he's gained 2 seconds. He's gained 2 seconds, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So unless any of the guys have seriously bad pace, but it doesn't look like it, as John and Jalix are going through the S section now. My driver of the day has definitely got to go to John, because he has been on pace the whole race. He's had a few moments where he feel like he's lost the pace, but he used that to his advantage, really, and he's kept in control. Do you think at the start of the day I would have said John has won this race? Probably not. But I think he was hoping that the conditions were going to be wet, and they were. As fireworks there's confetti flying everywhere. I actually can't believe I'm saying this. I'm literally so happy right now that this is going to happen. And a one that's never won a Grand Prix until now, John has won one of his first races in AOR F2 of the world. He is P1 with John Dralick in P2. Rosberg holds on to P3. Oh, Melanie P4. So the gap is not going to close that much. I think he's going to go down to 10, I think. 10 points. Wow, that's going to be close. Pelsby in P6. Burnout in P7. Still not a bad result for him, but he got a lot of penalties as LGS AI hits the wall there. So does Hayden's. He binned it on the line, but luckily he gets P10 anyway. Podium finisher from last week, Apex Aero. Unfortunately, not the best results for him, but he's going to finish anyway, and he's going to get P11. To be honest, I'm not going to lie, I'm happy John has won that race. He has had bad luck this season and trying to get into the top 5. And he's beat the likes of Rosberg, Dralix, Menany, the heavy hitters. He's gone and topped them all. Pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't expect it from the start. As we came in here, didn't expect him to do so well, to be fair. So that's great to see. Good for Dralix as well. It's good to see him, pushing in the championship, definitely, because there is that bit of a gap, as we know. As he's saying, he's definitely pushing on Clay's there, Infamous Clay, so he's definitely pushing further to secure that P3 now. So yeah, good to see him you know, the incident with Rosberg was quite fortunate for him because it kind of secured him that P2, and he could have probably lost P3 because probably Frankish would have pushed him. But yeah, good race altogether.
So I think we have our standings right now. We've got John, who takes the win. It was quite a close one, to be fair, by 9/10 per second. That's how close it was. With Rosberg in P3 getting that final podium spot with Melanie. Due to penalties, it promotes him up to P4, so good result for him. Frankish in P5, Pelsbury in P6, Burnout in P7, Jork in P8, LGS in P9, and Hayden rounds up your top 10. So I don't have John added as a friend on Xbox because I didn't think I was going to interview him this season, but it turns out I will have to add him as a friend on Xbox now, so I will do that now. So whilst I do that, what are your thoughts on that race, and who do you think is driver of the day?
I personally think driver of the day is, I think, it's really nice. It's really, I was going to try and make a joke, but nah, John, easy. There's nothing why. Good start, won at the start, kept a good gap, stayed consistent, no real mistakes except for that one penalty, and yeah, nah, solid race from him.
Yeah. I'm seeing if I can add John. Hopefully he's in the lobby still, so I could view is. Oh, what the view is a gamer card. Oh, how am I supposed to do this? What is going on with my controller right now? It's glitching for me. Right there, as a lot of people keep leaving. So I am going to add him as a friend. There we go. No hard feelings. I haven't added you as a friend. I should have done this a long time ago, John, if you're watching this. But there we go. I've just added you. So what I'm going to do is add John, Dralix, and David into the party. So we've got Rosberg, Dralix, and let's see if I can get John as well. Wait, where is John? I swear I've added him. I swear I've added him as a friend. Oh, yes, I have. That's all good. That's all good. So we invited the top 3 to the party just so they can get their last few thoughts as well. So it'll be interesting to see as well. And we're just waiting for the podium sitters to begin. It was a crazy race from start to finish as well, so I am pretty impressed with how that's gone on as well. We're just waiting for one more person to join. I think I will try and invite him again actually, because I don't really may have got my last invite because he wasn't a friend until now. So I'll invite him one more time, and I will just do this so he could join me easily. He's joining now actually. So we have our yes, we got everyone in the chat. Let's just start with our race winner, our first time race winner of the season, John. What a remarkable victory. You had a very good start into turn 1, and I think at the start of the day I wasn't going to predict you to be winning this race, and it must be an utter shock for you to finally get a taste of champagne. How does it feel for you?
It was amazing. I thought I was not going to make the start, but I made the start, and qualifying went pretty well. Obviously the start was pretty important to secure the win, but yeah, the first stint was quite tense with Tralex. Fortunately, managed to keep him behind me, and then the second stint I had some pace advantage at the start, and then tried to not get penalties. In the end, it was pretty close to me getting a second penalty. Yeah, but I was just bringing it home, and thankfully I brought it home.
And there were a few fans in the chat that were rooting for you. I think it was Amazing. I think Melvin that was hoping you were going to get that win. It went crazy, to be honest, that they found out that you won, I must say. And is this your first win of AOR?
No, my second win actually.
Your second win, but still that's good achievement.
Yeah.
But your first win in one of the top tiers then.
Yeah, especially now that switched to no line, it was pretty difficult. But fortunately, finally managing to get back to my pace.
Yeah, well done to you then. And we got Brazil next week. And what is your pace looking like there?
I'm not sure actually. We'll see. It's a nice track. Many people like this track, so we'll see how it goes.
And yeah, a very credible result, and our driver of the day as well. And no sign of Dralix right now, but we still have Rosberg in the party. That was a very tight finish until he got caught in that contact there, but still P3, and more importantly still ahead of Melanie in the race, means you were able to close up a little bit in the championship. And it must be a bittersweet moment for you, do you think, Rosberg?
Oh, my mic was on mute, whoops. But what is it? Yeah, nah, the race was going semi-well. I think I dropped to like P6 or maybe P5 off the start, I don't know, but managed to get into third quite early on. But I had no pace in Sector 2 in comparison to Dralix and Franglish. I have no pace in Sector 2. Sector 1 I was perfectly fine under braking. I was able to brake a lot later than Dralix, as I've made my halved attempt up the inside of him, but there was no way I was going to be able to get past him with how slow I was through Sector 2. And with Franglish hitting me, taking me out, I don't know, at the end, I was, if anything, I was incredibly lucky to get P3 in the end.
Yeah, so you must be happy to gain that and close up. So it's pretty much the championship fight is pretty much on for you now. As you know, I think it's a 10-point gap now. I'm not entirely sure. Probably less than that now as we go to the final two races. And would you say the last two tracks are your strongest tracks? What are you going to do to try and close it in for the final two rounds to make sure it goes to Abu Dhabi?
Well, I think the gap is 9 points.
9 points.
I think we went into this race. Yeah. I think we went into this race 12 points behind. I think I gained 3 points, and so yeah, it would be 9 points. But Brazil, I think I'll be fine. Abu Dhabi, honestly, I don't know about Abu Dhabi. I think that could be a risky one. Brazil, I know my pace is better than Melanie's, but we'll have to see come next week. How do I attempt to win the championship? Maybe cross the line ahead of him.
Yeah.
That'd be alright.
And yeah, good job on your second podium in a row as well, because I was going to interview P1 and P3. Alex, would you mind interviewing Dralix for P2? Because now Dralix is back in the party, I believe.
Yeah, he is first year X squad on pole, especially. Do you want to quickly talk through your qualifying lap? Because it was pretty quick, in my opinion.
To be honest, I felt like it was a bad lap, and then the lobby was kind of glitchy for me. So in the top left, it said I was like third or second or something. I don't know. So I tried to do a second lap, but then I got stuck behind Beaver that was also on the lap, so I couldn't improve. But then at the end of the session, I was first, which I mean, I was kind of surprised. I'll take it. Was that like my third pole, and all of them have come in the rain, so I knew I was going to be quick when it was raining, but yeah.
And the start was quite an interesting part. Do you want to talk about the start as well, just because it kind of seemed you didn't get as great a start as John, from my point of view. What kind of went on through that first part of the race?
Well, I had 5 lights, and then John went flying by me, and then my lights went off. So that's what happened. Like John was already past me and my lights were still up. I thought my start was actually pretty good, but then John was halfway down the straight. And then I don't know, there's so much spray I couldn't really see. I tried to move, but I mean, I also made a mistake, I think, at one point. I almost murdered John. But yeah,
also,
my race pace was weird.
Okay, so you're also in this quite a tight fight with Infamous Clates for P3. You kind of extended that as well with this race. He wasn't really in the most at. Do you think you can sustain P3 for the rest of the season, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a challenge than today was?
I think so. I mean, if Clays goes on a 3-race winning streak or something, then it might be hard. But my goal is to stay P3 right now. I thought I was going to be in the title fight, to be honest, but then I got 3 really unlucky races back to back, and then I didn't show up to the 3rd one, so I lost so many points to the leaders that, I mean, I'm not winning the championship. I don't think so. So I'm going to try to stay P3. I think it's possible.
Okay. Well, good. That's all from me, Jess.
Okay, brilliant. I don't think I have any other questions. So, again, well done on your podiums. Well done, John, on your win, like I said earlier on. Thank you guys so much for watching the Xbox One F2 stream. It was very crazy from start to finish, and thank you for those of you that have stuck around. The race has already started for Xbox F1, so if you want to go to that stream, please do, and watch what happens there in a very good Mexican Grand Prix. So now the gap is 9 points. Anything can happen now. It's more than likely that the title could be decided in Abu Dhabi, but we don't know. We don't know quite yet. I will be looking at title permutations though, because we could see a title crown next week. We might not, but we'll have to wait and see. And also thanks to Alex for commentating this race. Absolutely good as always.
Thank you for having me.
And we shall see you actually next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It should provide some very good action anyway. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and have a good evening, and stay tuned for the Xbox F1 stream. And I've completely forgot, I was going to mention something. Make sure you tune in on Tuesday night for the first round of the AOR Esports tournament, which starts at Harper State. We don't know who the teams are going to be for that yet. They're still finalising that on who's actually qualified. But yeah, the first round is Xbox and is at Harper State on Tuesday. Then it'll be PS4 at 8 PM on Friday, and then Thursday, and then on Saturday will be PC at 8 o'clock. So looking forward to that. So make sure you tune in then. The prize pool is huge for that. But anyway, until then, have a good evening and good night.